Have you ever looked around your room, walked down your familiar neighborhood street, or stared directly into the eyes of an absolute stranger and felt an overwhelming, deeply unsettling and chilling sensation that something is fundamentally, structurally wrong with the reality you inhabit? Have you ever experienced a localized moment where the physical world around you seemed to awkwardly skip a frame, where the established laws of thermodynamics suddenly bent, or where a piece of the immediate environment failed to load its textures correctly? The modern simulation theory, supported by quantum physicists, tech billionaires and philosophers worldwide, boldly suggests that our entire universe is not made of physical matter, but is actually an ultra-realistic, deeply complex digital program run by a post-human supercomputer. But just like any complex software, operational system, or massive multiplayer online video game ever created by intelligent minds, this cosmic simulation occasionally suffers from severe system bugs, coding errors, regional server lags, and game-breaking hardware frame drops. Today, we are pulling back the digital curtain to count down the top 5 unexplained glitch in the Matrix moments ever captured on modern cameras, providing objective evidence that challenges our fundamental understanding of human history. These are not grainy, blurry, low-resolution videos from the early 90s internet era. These are high-definition, modern digital recordings that have left top forensic video analysts, specialized software programmers, and hardcore skeptics completely speechless. Make sure you stick around and pay close attention to number 1 on our list today, because it features a piece of anomalous footage so deeply disturbing that it will genuinely shatter your psychological perception of existence. Smash that subscribe button right now. Turn on the bell notifications to join our community of truth seekers. Clear your mind of all preconceptions. And let's dive straight into the terrifying deep end of the simulated Matrix. Number 5. The hovering airplane anomaly. An impossibly bizarre phenomenon that has been recorded by hundreds of independent eyewitnesses traveling on major multi-lane interstate highways directly outside massive international airports across the globe over recent years. For a commercial passenger airliner weighing several hundred tons to remain safely in the upper atmosphere, it requires immense, uninterrupted forward momentum to push air over its massive wings, generating the necessary aerodynamic lift to counter gravity. Without this essential forward velocity relative to the air, an airplane physically cannot hover in place. It immediately loses its lift, stalls its massive engines, and crashes violently toward the Earth due to the relentless pull of gravitational acceleration. This viral video, captured raw by an incredibly confused passenger inside a rapidly moving vehicle on a busy highway, completely snaps that absolute law of classical Newtonian physics in half, without any logical explanation. As the smartphone camera pans upward toward the cloudy airport horizon, we clearly see a massive commercial passenger jet completely frozen, stationary, and suspended in midair directly above the heavy afternoon commuter traffic. It hangs there in the grey sky like a plastic model toy glued to a bedroom ceiling, perfectly level, with its heavy landing gear fully extended, yet it shows absolutely no signs of forward progression or altitude loss. The driver's car accelerates and passes directly underneath the giant steel aircraft, looking upward through the glass roof. Yet the jet does not advance a single inch in space, remaining anchored to an invisible coordinates grid. Mainstream skeptics heavily argue that this is a classic case of a powerful parallax optical illusion, where a slow-moving plane flying into an extreme headwind appears stationary to an observer moving quickly in the opposite direction. But as the car completely passes beneath the jet and the camera angles backward, the spatial perspective shifts entirely, while the airplane remains mathematically locked in its exact physical position without any engine exhaust visibility. It looks exactly like a complex video game asset lagging out of a regional multiplayer server, hanging helplessly in three-dimensional space, while the rest of the world's physics engine continues to render fluidly around it. the driver sounds genuinely terrified on the raw audio track, laughing nervously with an edge of panic as he repeatedly asks his companion if they are seeing the exact same impossible violation of reality. Did the primary physics engine of our local universe temporarily crash in that specific geographical sector, failing to calculate the proper velocity vectors for this multi-ton aircraft during a routine system background refresh? Number 4, the infinite NPC loop, an anomaly captured by automated surveillance networks that are designed to be completely objective, emotionless, and unbiased observers of the mundane behavioral patterns of human civilization. This incredibly eerie and widely discussed piece of security footage takes us deep into the dimly lit, concrete underground parking lot of a modern urban shopping mall, captured late at night by a high-definition lens. At the 10-second mark of the unedited continuous video, a young man wearing a highly visible, bright red hooded sweatshirt, blue jeans, and clean white sneakers enters the camera frame from the bottom left corner. He walks at a very specific, deliberate, and calculated pace, looking directly down at his smartphone screen, completely absorbed in whatever digital data is displaying on his device as he navigates the lot. He walks diagonally across the empty concrete space, passes directly behind a large parked silver SUV, and exits the top right frame of the surveillance camera in a completely natural, uninteresting manner. Exactly 3 seconds later, without a single frame jump or edit, the exact same man wearing the exact same bright red hooded sweatshirt, blue jeans, and white sneakers enters the camera frame from the same corner. He takes the exact same physical path across the floor, holding his smartphone at the exact same geometric angle, walking with identical stride length and body language, as if replaying a recorded script. The digital timestamp at the bottom of the security monitor counts up naturally, second by second, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that the video file has absolutely no internal cuts, jumps, or software loops. To the horror of the security guards analyzing the live feed, the man enters the frame a third time, executing the identical walking path and arm movements, like a broken, non-playable character in a video game. Professional video forensic experts later analyzed the raw file structure and found 0 anomalies, 0 compression masking layers, and absolutely no signs of digital video manipulation, green screening, or multi-clip stitching. The ambient lighting and reflections on the red fabric of his hoodie shift perfectly and realistically in accordance with each overhead fluorescent bulb he passes, which would require Hollywood-level special effects budgets to fake. Are we truly surrounded by unique human beings possessing independent consciousness? Or is a massive portion of our global population comprised of empty digital assets pre-programmed to fill up empty space? And what terrifying existential realization occurs when the central operating code that dictates their daily paths experiences a memory leak, forcing them into an inescapable infinite animation loop? Number 3. The shadowless truck, an anomaly that directly challenges our visual understanding of light, optics, and spatial awareness, forcing us to question how our brains process three-dimensional physical entities. When an object is solid and opaque, it naturally blocks the trajectory of light rays, and a corresponding dark shadow is immediately cast onto the physical surface directly behind or beneath that object. This basic, unalterable law of optics is the primary mechanism our brains utilize to perceive depth, confirm solid contact with the ground, and mathematically validate the physical existence of an object in our environment. This next viral video defied all scientific explanation so intensely when it was uploaded online that it sparked a massive, highly technical debate among professional video graphics engineers and quantum physicists alike. The original footage was shot spontaneously on a bright, completely cloudless afternoon in a standard suburban commercial parking lot by a man who was simply testing out his brand new smartphone camera sensor. The afternoon sun is high and intense, casting incredibly sharp, dark, high contrast shadows beneath every single parked sedan, concrete curb, trash receptacle, and small tree located within the perimeter of the area. But as the camera slowly pans over to a brand new metallic silver pickup truck parked cleanly within a designated space, a chilling, deeply unnatural visual detail immediately emerges to the observer. The massive silver truck has absolutely zero shadow underneath its body, despite sitting directly on top of the sunlit, light-colored asphalt during the brightest hour of the day. It looks visually jarring, as if the heavy vehicle is completely semi-transparent, hovering an inch above the ground, or has been poorly photoshopped into real life without blocking a single ray of solar light. The bewildered cameraman walks entirely around the vehicle, getting closer to the panels, and purposefully passes his own hand and body in front of the sun to test the validity of the light source. His own human shadow appears perfectly, darkly, and crisply on the truck's metallic hood, yet the ground directly beneath the tires and chassis remains completely illuminated, devoid of any ambient occlusion. Digital special effects artists quickly claimed it was a masterful CGI rendering, where the creator simply forgot to activate the Cast Shadows checkbox in the professional 3D rendering software before exporting. However, independent raw metadata analysis confirmed that the video file was recorded directly onto a physical phone storage drive with absolutely no post-processing layers, tracking markers, or artificial digital alterations. It appears as though the real-time rendering engine of our universe simply skipped the complex shadow pass calculation for this specific vehicle asset to conserve valuable local processing power in that crowded zone. Number 2. The living mirror reflection. A deeply disturbing piece of footage that taps into our innate, subconscious psychological fear of reflective surfaces and the ancient folklore surrounding mirrors as gateways. We are scientifically taught that a mirror is merely a passive, reflective surface that bounces photons back at our retinas instantaneously, reflecting our exact movements at the absolute speed of light. What you do in the physical world, your reflection must do simultaneously, without a single nanosecond of hesitation, delay, or independent autonomy, acting as a perfect geometric slave to your physical body. This deeply unsettling, nightmare-inducing video was captured spontaneously by a mother who was simply recording her energetic young toddler playing in their brightly lit residential living room on a weekend afternoon. The young boy runs directly up to a large, heavy, floor-to-ceiling mirror leaning against the main wall, presses his hands and face against the cold glass, and smiles happily at his own image. Suddenly, the boy loses interest, quickly turns around on his heels, and runs completely away from the mirror toward his mother, who is holding the recording device on the other side of the room. But as the physical boy rapidly retreats across the carpet, his visual reflection remains completely pressed against the glass inside the mirror, staring straight ahead into the empty space of the room. For 2 full agonizing seconds, the reflection exists with absolute independence, remaining frozen before suddenly snapping back into the real-world timeline, turning around to mimic the boy's previous movement. Skeptics immediately rushed to explain this away as a classic rolling shutter effect, a camera sensor phenomenon where images are recorded line by line, occasionally creating visual delays in fast-moving subjects. But any optical physicist will tell you that a standard mobile rolling shutter cannot keep a complex, detailed human form frozen and perfectly rendered for 2 entire seconds after the object has fully left the frame. The facial expression on the child's reflection during those 2 seconds of total disconnect is hollow, blank, and deeply unnerving, looking less like a reflection and more like a separate entity. Did the local simulation experience a severe network bottleneck or memory allocation error, leaving the mirror's reflection asset standing completely still due to a temporary breakdown in user input synchronization? Number 1. The Sky wireframe. A monumental piece of video evidence that will push your personal skepticism to its absolute limit, destroy your comfort zone, and forever alter how you view the sky. This final, incredible video was captured by a highly experienced team of professional storm chasers and meteorologists deep in the wilderness during an historically severe, high-voltage summer thunderstorm. They had set up a professional-grade, high-sensitivity, low-light camera system on a stabilized tripod to record the spectacular, rapid-fire lightning strikes illuminating the dark night sky over distant mountain peaks. The raw footage begins with intense atmospheric wind, heavy, blinding rain, and deafening cracks of rolling thunder that shake the ground, while the sky remains pitch black behind the heavy cloud layers. At the exact 2-minute mark of the recording, an immense multi-pronged bolt of cloud-to-ground lightning rips across the entire expanse of the sky, with billions of volts of electrical energy. For a tiny fraction of a second, this massive, unprecedented electrical discharge acts as a cosmic flash, completely illuminating the upper atmosphere and the highest altitudes of our local skybox. Instead of revealing organic, chaotic, randomized cloud formations or empty black space, the blinding lightning blast exposes a massive, hyper-precise, perfect geometric grid pattern, stretching from horizon to horizon. It looks exactly like a giant digital wireframe dome composed of millions of perfectly uniform, glowing square blocks spanning the entire upper atmosphere, resembling the structural blueprint of a simulated environment. For 3 consecutive frames of the high-speed video file, this mathematical matrix grid is completely visible to the human eye, glowing with a faint, eerie blue-green luminescence before vanishing back into darkness. The seasoned storm chasers can be heard screaming in absolute, unadulterated psychological terror on the audio track, completely abandoning their expensive equipment and sprinting toward their vehicles to escape. Independent forensic video specialists later discovered that the geometric grid was physically located miles up in the atmosphere, sitting directly behind the lower cloud layer, which partially obstructed the lines. This crucial detail completely eliminates any mainstream theories regarding internal camera sensor reflections, lens flare artifacts, digital compression errors, or local light pollution bouncing off the camera glass. It looks identical to the wireframe editing mode utilized by modern video game developers to construct a skybox before applying the organic-looking textures of clouds, blue sky, sunsets, and stars on top. It appears that the immense, unprecedented electrical surge short-circuited the active optical cloaking mechanism of our world, temporarily exposing the rigid, artificial, digital ceiling of our calculated planetary prison. We grow up believing we are looking out into an infinite, expanding universe of billions of galaxies. But this footage suggests we are staring at a giant projection screen designed to keep us oblivious. Are these 5 mind-bending moments just an incredible, mathematically improbable series of bizarre coincidences, camera malfunctions, and highly elaborate digital hoaxes designed for internet clout? Or are they genuine, undeniable, terrifying fractures in the massive digital illusion we call human life, exposing the true artificial architecture of our daily existence to anyone paying attention? As our own human technology continues to advance at an exponential rate, our virtual reality video games and artificial intelligence simulations are becoming completely indistinguishable from our perceived reality. If we possess the capability to create simulated worlds filled with digital life, who is to say that a superior civilization, millions of years older than us, didn't do the exact same thing? The fundamental code of this machine is visible all around us, hidden deep within the Fibonacci sequence of nature, the perfect geometry of crystals, and the mathematical constants of physics. And every now and then, when the central processor gets too hot, or the local user population grows too dense, the matrix glitches and the terrifying truth slips through the digital cracks. Which of these 5 undeniable matrix glitches do you personally believe provides the most definitive, scientifically sound proof that our lives are completely artificial? Have you ever witnessed an anomaly in your own daily life? A moment where a person, object, or sound did something that you simply could not explain logically to anyone else? I want you to drop your wildest thoughts, personal theories, and unexplainable personal experiences down in the comment section below, because I read every single response directly. If this countdown gave you chills and made you look at your surrounding environment a little differently today, please smash that like button and share this video with someone who needs to wake up. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel to join our community, ensuring you never miss another mind-bending countdown into the deepest, darkest, and most unexplained mysteries of our hidden world. Thank you so much for dedication, for watching until the very end. And as always, I highly advise you to keep your eyes wide open as you navigate the world today. Never stop analyzing, and always question the validity of your reality, because absolutely nothing is exactly as it seems on the surface of this calculated digital program. The central simulation operating system might be actively monitoring your cognitive and emotional reaction to this specific piece of investigative footage at this very microsecond. Stay safe, stay incredibly curious, protect your mind from the programming, and I will see you all in the very next mind-altering countdown video. Goodbye